All right. So, welcome back to the Friday Open Studio design sessions. Um, Sorry about the late start there. I had some technical difficulties with streaming. The other stream, I think I just left it idle for too long, and there were some issues in connectivity. So, hopefully, you're not too late to this one, but um, it's yeah, there's gonna be like duplicates of streams and I'll have to clean that up later. But welcome back. This is the Friday Open Studio design sessions that I hold weekly. If you're new around here, this is really intended to be kind of like an open studio environment where you can be working on your projects and I'll be working on mine. You can keep it on in the background. You don't necessarily have to watch everything. This can be kind of a working session, just a kind of environment of creativity through the internet and so forth. Um, Again, I apologize if you just arrived in the stream for the technical difficulties that were present with the other stream that I started. Again, I think the problem was I left it idle for too long and it lost connection and it was just confused. It couldn't continue the stream. So, um, this is why I've started this stream. And so hopefully I'll clean up any duplicates that might occur on the channel, right? I'll delete any of the shorter, like couple second long streams if they exist. Um, so with that said, if anything goes wrong here, um, in the past, I've learned that you can just continue doing the stream, just start a new stream, and the old one would automatically stop at some point and upload. So I will just leave the open, I guess, dead stream. I'll just leave it be and let it do its own thing and let it figure its way out of that situation. And I'll just start a new stream. So there'll be like multiple parts if it gets interrupted. So, anyways, with that aside, I guess we can continue on with actual work here. Um, so last week we really started to panel the top fuselage here. This is the YX10 M1 prototype. So this is an original design. It's an original design, so you're not gonna find it out on the internet. It's completely, original. I don't know what else to say for it. Brain is running a little bit slow today. It's a Friday afternoon. Anyways, so this project is pretty interesting. I have a physical model right here. And, this is based off of some sketches that I did. So I don't know if you guys can see, but so I got a new computer last week. And I spent this week setting it up. And let me just unmount my camera here for a second. Show you my monitor here. So I have a Windows. I switched over to Windows, and here is the sketch on one monitor. Here's the front profile sketch from another. So this is pretty neat, I guess. So I can reference my designs here, and work on this physical project right here at the same time. With the addition of Windows here, I guess one of the benefits is that I actually can use CAD. So this is NX here, and I've been trying to model this in this software. It's been really slow. I've been taking it baby steps, a bit at a time. This curve I spent a lot of time defining the spline. Nice thing about NX is that it's a parametric software, so you can redefine these shapes later and it'll automatically update the 3D model. So this is a work in progress. I haven't really gotten too far with it, but the goal here is to eventually digitize this model So essentially, we're moving to what's known as a model-based definition of this design. So the only design document that you need really is this 3D CAD model, and you'll be able to derive any 2D cross sections in the future if you just make a slice like a cut plane and then you view it. Um, like you can see the cross sections here, the loft, right? You can see if you cut it this way longitudinally what it's going to be like, and so forth. So model-based definition is definitely the future. It's definitely the way to go, but it requires some investment up front in paying attention to the details here when you're modeling. So I'm working on that, and for now I'm just gonna put the sketch back on the page here. So that is kind of what we want to make, but it might not end up like this. This is like a concept sketch, right? We want to get here, but we might not necessarily do so, right? If you look at the actual prototype, it's a little bit different so far, but overall it's quite inspired by this sketch. It's pretty close, I would think. So that's a good thing. All right, so I'm gonna mount this camera back here. I think I saw some comments, so I'm gonna open up the chat, live chat, and respond to those. So let me just adjust this. Yeah, this phone tends to overheat, so that might be an issue too. Like the display goes dim sometimes, and I can't really see anything. Yeah, it's really time for a replacement. This is a 3-year-old iPhone 10 here, so let me see the chat here. Just open that up. Nice. From Benjamin Rogers. Hey, thanks, man. Glad to see you on the stream. Longtime supporter. Definitely appreciate it. Nice. I like the bottom structure and the landing gear in the CAD model. So that wasn't really a landing gear. It was more of it's more of that ventral fin support. It's kind of fairing, so to speak. It kind of wraps around the ventral fin. In this physical model, I don't know if I'll incorporate the ventral fin because honestly, I don't know if it's needed. To be frank, it's really difficult to mount that kind of a structure with this pre-existing bit here. So I think I might skip out on that. We might just wrap around this entire thing here. But what we might do instead, actually, we're not going to do anything instead. We're just going to make the regular vertical stabilizers here because the ventral fin is nice because it can act as a handle. I just don't know if it's durable enough to handle crashes because in the Astra prototype, it was really bulky. This fin, it was not elegant at all because there were two steel wires inside that reinforced the structure. And so it was able to handle crashes, but whenever it like flew low to the ground, the ventral fin would touch the ground first, and then like it would make the nose kind of just point down and dig into the ground, which I'm not sure if that's what I want. So I might go with something sleeker that's more less or I guess it's less obstructive of, I don't even know if that's a word, but it won't get in the way of this crash landings essentially. So I think I saw some other chats here. The humps on the bottom are similar to what I've done on a few models. And I saw the ventral fin. I meant the landing gear in the rendering or sketch. Oh yeah, that's so yeah, I think you might be referencing the the front one. Yep. The frontal view of this plane. So I don't know if I'm gonna build that. This is just kind of a concept here. Yeah, it's a very simplified, it's not realistic. This is idealized. Like if I could build this would be great, but I probably won't end up building that. But there's definitely going to be some type of structure if I work on the landing gear. Yeah, there's going to be some type of structure on the wing right there, outboard of the root. So that's where the root is. It's going to be mounted on the wing itself. Yeah, same idea, similar idea for the vertical stabilizer. Some type of support structure there. And if you notice here in this sketch, there's a kind of a boom that brings the vertical stabilizer out so that it can, well, it won't, you know, it won't be like ineffective, because in the last prototype, in the OG original Astra, these stabilizers were mounted directly on the wing, which were not really effective because if these wings are swept like this, if you put your stabilizers here, they're not going to be able to stabilize this part of the wing. So you're going to have lift produced here, but if you place it in front, then it's not going to stabilize this design. So you got to put it a little bit behind. And actually for this design, I'm going to place it very behind. Basically the leading edge of that vertical stabilizer will be at the trailing edge of this main wing. So that's kind of the plan for that, but we will get there eventually. It'll take some time. So again, sorry for the movement here. Just really trying to adjust the camera so you guys can see. Saw another chat. If you do make landing gear, could you blend the support structure for the vertical stabilizers and use the sheath around it to house the landing gear? Yes, that was kind of the concept. So I don't think I'll end up doing that, but we can integrate it in one continuous kind of I guess lump on the wing, so to speak. Because it's I thought about doing the twin straw, the friction locking mechanism inside a orange straw. I don't know if you've ever seen the orange straws that I use. Let me just grab one real quick. So I really use two types of straws, right? There's this large diameter straw from Dunkin' Donuts, and then there's this smaller diameter black straw. So I usually take two of these small black straws, compress them a little bit, and then fit them into this orange straw to create the friction lock mechanism. I was thinking about using this outer portion here, this orange bit, as a mount for the vertical stabilizer, and then for some reason, like if you mount it on the underside, and if you imagine like a shorter cut here, let me just pretend that it's like this. If you install a friction lock mechanism inside, while your vertical stabilizers are mounted externally, then you would be able to integrate this mechanism for the landing gear, right, with the moving center column here. You'd be able to integrate that mechanism with the vertical stabilizer structure. But I don't think that's a good way to go, because I really want the vertical stabilizer to be mounted like how I did on the Rapid Prototype 004, which is where you have like a half cut on a straw, right? You only cut one side, and then you place the surface in, and then you compress it and then tape it together. I think I'm gonna go with something like that. Or also, there's room for experimentation, because this is like a very, I guess structurally, like, it needs to be really reinforced, right? You can't have a boom here that easily breaks off, because this is kind of a flight critical surface. So it needs to be very durable, very strong. So that's what I'm saying, like if you put two of these straws inside this larger diameter straw, it makes this larger diameter straw a lot stiffer. There's a lot more material inside, and so I'm thinking about doing something with that for the vertical stabilizer, but we're not quite there yet. We're slowly working our way there. We'll think through the problem, but you just can't rush these things. You gotta do one step at a time. If you have ideas, great, sketch them down, draw them. And that's always the first step. Capture your ideas down first on paper, and then you can think about it, let it marinate in your head for a little while before you make a decision on it. Let's see another chat here. So I adapted the tape and popsicle stick hinge. Tape and popsicle stick hinge for the landing gear on my most recent designs. Oh, so like the mechanism for the leading edge slats, is that what you mean? Because that's a very space efficient design. It works well. One thing, I haven't attached a mechanism to move it though. To move it, yeah. So it's, moving parts are always complicated because you gotta think about them beforehand. And I'm approaching this as kind of a yes, the edge slats. Sorry, I forget the name. Yeah, no worries. I always keep on approaching this as like a beginner, right? Mechanism design, but there is really a structure, like a method, like a structured method to this. Unfortunately for me, I was not a mechanical engineer in college. I was studying aerospace, so we don't care about these details about designing a hinge or gears or levers or anything like that, which actually those kinds of things actually interest me more. So maybe I chose the wrong major. But in aerospace you really don't focus on that, but there is a way to design these mechanisms, and I just don't know, like I haven't gone through the proper training for that. So what I usually do is I just imagine how things would move and how do we get the thing to move like that, I know that's like very vague and it's probably not very helpful, but that's literally what I do. It's essentially just looking at how things move, what the trajectories are, and what can make that trajectory, right? Based on some simple machines like levers and um, cranks and pulleys and, well, I guess we don't really have a pulley here, but we do have levers in the sense that we have a friction lock mechanism that drives a canard actuation mechanism here. So in any case, that's a lot of talk. I've been talking for like the past 17 minutes. I think we should really get some progress going on this design. So I'm gonna start working on this. Again, feel free to work on your own projects as well, um, and keep this on in the background for kind of a studio environment here. So I think for today, we are going to continue modeling the top here. There's one more piece that I need to make. It's this cover right here, right? If you see, there is a seam currently. So I do want to cover that and make this panel look nice as well. Also, I need it to overlap the front here a little tiny bit, just to take out the asymmetry in the panels from the top that you can possibly see here. So after I do that, I think we can start working on the nose underside here. So let's go ahead and get started on that. So I'm going to use a template like usual. And for this, we really don't need that large of a template, so I'm thinking this much is probably okay. Oops, sorry about that. It's probably really loud if you turn your volume up. So we want to cover this and make it look nice. That's the tricky part. You can definitely cover it with a slab of cardstock, but it's going to be difficult to make it look nice. How do you make something look nice? That is, that's one of those questions that are always at the back of my mind. It's like, how do we make this look nice? Look presentable, right? Look a little bit more professional. So, in any case, I am going to use probably a temporary piece of okay, actually let's just rough cut this down because this is a little bit large, this template. I forgot I retracted the lead on this thing. It's always a good habit to retract your lead when you're not using it, but it's just it's a little bit bothersome if you forget. So I'm just gonna do that and do that and rough cut this out. We really only need one side for this. And because this is a template, we can do a hard fold on the printer paper, the white printer paper here. You know, because this isn't our final part, we are just rough cutting this and trying to define a shape to use for the actual part here. So this is, yeah, this is really strategy, right? You want to do things in a clean manner, and you want to be strategic about everything. Let me see, are there any chats or comments here? Yeah, nope, we're all set to go. You might have noticed on my desktop, this is completely off on a tangent here, but I started playing some games on my new computer, which surprisingly it can handle, which I did not expect, but it works quite nice. So yeah, I've been playing Among Us. It's a viral game. Everybody's playing it. Seems kind of sus, right? Anyways, it's a pretty fun game, so recommend it. It's like $5 on Steam, so it's not too bad. Always gotta support the devs, you know. And the second game that I got on my PC here is Ace Combat, and that's really what inspires a lot of what I do here. You know, in terms of making these planes, some of the design language in these aircraft are heavily inspired from that series. So this, that's gonna be interesting. So I don't know how this is gonna go. Yeah, I already have the game on. So I think it's connecting to my iPad through the Magic Keyboard, and it's like, I don't recognize this device. No worries though. So it's a little bit interesting in that I got the game again on PC because there are some really nice community made mods, you know, for skins and stuff for aircraft. And also like there's like weapons mods where you can have infinite ammo for, you know, something. But yeah, I just got it again to support the devs, and also because, you know, I can take this laptop everywhere I go. So having a copy of that game here is really nice. I can play it at my desk now instead of, you know, at the couch in the living room. So that's a plus. All right, so that's kind of what we're gonna do here. Yeah, I'm really not sure about this. I don't think it's gonna look that great, but we can try this out. I'm just worried about making this template a little too small. Like if I cut away too much material, it's gonna be hard. Well, it's gonna be tedious, really, not hard, but it's gonna be tedious to recut everything back to the shape that you want. Look at this, so many little scrap pieces here. But this hopefully is close to what we need. Okay, it looks a little bit weird. But the edges are right. The edges are in the right places. I mean, the corners, rather. It's just this middle panel here that needs some work. Yeah. So, gotta leverage the fact that this is a template and not a final workpiece, so you can make these hard creases. All right, let me just take an eraser. Where did I put my eraser? All right, so I have this block eraser here. Just gonna erase some of the lines here. And I'm gonna mark the forward edge. That is forward. Watch it be wrong. watch it be actually the other way around, which would be tragic. That would be absolutely tragic. Anyways, I think that works actually. That's quite nice. I think it would fit better if once the colors are in place, gray on gray, make it really blend in. So I gotta align this with the back here. So once that's aligned, and this front really looks more symmetric. All right, it looks pretty good to me. The only thing I want to test out is potentially drawing a line from this tip down to this corner right here, just to see what the visual shape would look like. If it looks better, I might go for it. Again, a lot of these like non-essential details, this is where the art comes into play. Yeah, I don't think I like that. I like the previous one better. So yeah, it's a matter of preference, and again, preference, taste, that stuff I cannot teach you. You have to kind of develop your own. What do I like about this? What do I not like about this? And everything in life really, you should be evaluating. Do I like this? What can be done better, right? And that's how you become a designer who's more and more nitpicky about the details, and eventually you create great things because you're picky about that stuff, right? All right, just about at the half-hour mark, and we're ready to make our first piece of this session. So I'm trying to save material, but also this is a very space-hungry part. Let me see if I have another piece right here. I have a scrap piece right here. So this is why you always want to hang on to your scraps. You can always make some little part out of some piece somewhere. Okay, so this might be a little bit discolored, but I think that's okay. It's workable, and I can quite nicely fit this into this little corner here, which saves area, and also I don't have to cut one of the edges. So I'm gonna zoom in a little bit for you guys. This camera arm is really nice. I'm glad I got it. It's like $20 on Amazon, but it's been instrumental in my live streams. I haven't really figured out how to do the mirrorless camera for the web stream or for the live stream here. That requires software, which I have installed. I just haven't had the time to figure out all the details. And to be honest, I feel like this phone, like, because it's so easy to set up, it's, I think it lowers the barrier for doing these streams. It's a lot easier to start this stream on a phone than on a PC. But then again, I haven't really done it before on a PC, so who knows? If I get it set up, I'll probably do a test stream at some point. I'll just have like a 20-minute stream this weekend or whenever. Just testing out the new equipment, testing out the audio, things like that. But I'll just like talk about projects or something. It'll be like one of these real life live streams, but only 20 minutes or so. So with any new technology, you got to test it out and actually use it. So I have yet to do that. I also don't know like how to mount my mirrorless camera straight down like this. My phone is fairly light, so I can mount it on this arm, but I don't think there's an arm capable of mounting a 3-pound, 4-pound mirrorless camera, full frame camera. So I'll have to figure out how exactly to do that. But until then, I will be using my phone because it is reliable. I know it works, but eventually we'll switch to a better streaming setup here. It'll take time. And I'm not in a rush. These are usually the max internet speed that I have only allows for like a 720p stream anyway. So, even with the better camera quality, I doubt it's going to be a huge influence. But, we'll see. It's probably something to do in the future here for improvement. Well, then again, improvement, there's always improvement. You can buy like a several $1,000, which I'm not going to because I don't think it's worth it. But you can buy several $1,000 live stream webcam from like Sony. It's not their mirrorless cameras, but they have like a dedicated. It looks like a turret, to be honest. It looks like one of those, guns that you put on naval ships, and it's like a spinning turret that aims at like an object. It tracks your face or something. It's insane, the amount of engineering behind it. But I'm not a professional streamer, so I don't see myself getting that. But maybe like a webcam, like a light webcam, a dedicated webcam, so that I can still mount it on this arm, get an overhead shot, but it's connected to my computer via USB-C. And in that way, I can switch between showing things that are on my computer and also the camera live feed of me working on these projects. So that would be ideal, I think. And I don't really need like super high spec for that. I just really need like 1080p max. I don't plan on streaming in 4K or anything like that. So that would require some insane internet speeds, which I just don't need right now. I mean, I guess like internet speed faster is always better, but it also, the price increases like dramatically. Anyways, and it's only me in this apartment, and I'm here like probably 5/7 of the time. So 2 days out of the week I'm not here. Oh, that's when I went back home every week, but every 2 weeks. So I don't know, 12 out of 14 days I'm here, which I guess justifies that, the better internet, but I don't know. Gotta make that judgment. I personally don't think it's worth it because I don't know, I just, the internet that I have right now is perfectly fine. Just can't stream in 4K, which is very niche. Anyways, I'm just kind of talking to myself at this point. Just gonna erase some of the edge lines here. This panel looks okay. So let's see. How does this fit, right? So we need to pre-bend this piece into shape. Can't really mark it because if we mark it, it'll really show on the outside, and I want the skin to be flawless, or as close to flawless as we can get it. And so we'll just pre-bend this into that curve that we need, right? It can get quite sharp here, but you just ease the material into that shape. And then okay, so this is good. And for a quick check here on the shape here, I think it might be the other way. Is it the other way here? Yeah, the other way. Well, so it's quite symmetric down the middle here. So each side looks about the same, but it's gonna be a little bit different. Okay, so if I flip this over, it's a little bit off. So that means this must be forward, which I think I have high confidence that it is. But on the inside, I can mark this is forward. All right, so now I won't be confused. Always label your parts, even though nobody will see it but you. It's good to do so, just for sanity purposes, I guess. All right, so the way we want to align this is the trailing edge will cover a little tiny bit of panel underneath, but really it's intended to cover up until here. Well, that's very specific, but you get the idea. This is going to require some precision, so you might not be able to see this because my hands will be in the way, but all right, so let's see. Let's look at the alignment real quick here. Yeah, so the bottom panels don't quite match, which is a problem. That means this is going to be slightly off as well. So if that's the case, then we need to shift it back a little bit. This is super nitpicky. Probably, guys, you probably are bored to death from listening to these details, but hey, that's how I do things. You gotta be meticulous. All right, so as long as one side is down, the other side should be a lot easier to tape down. For now, I'm just doing maybe less than half. It's really 40% of the width here. And then we're securing that and tightly wrapping this around and attaching it to the opposite side here. All right, so mistake. Cannot do that because the front is exposed and the front is the more asymmetric part. So we gotta move this slightly forward a little bit. Nice thing is the layer underneath is already tape. So it won't rip like actual paper does. Okay, so the bad part is it's also tape. So it's gonna have some issues with sticking. All right, maybe we should align it at the front here, but ideally it would be like perfectly aligned. Is that good? Yeah, that's good. I think that's decent. Yeah, it's really a cosmetic panel. This piece right here is not really functional. I guess you could say it's functional in the sense that it reduces drag, but on this scale, at with this level of interruption, it's not a huge amount of added drag. I mean, it's gonna be like some amount, but it's not gonna be significant. So I'm just gonna cover the rest of this with tape here, right side, left side, and then over the top, covering the two seams. All right, so I left a little margin to the top, and that's on purpose. You do the same thing on this side. That's like the one issue with this method, is that there's just so many layers of tape here. It becomes like a little bit translucent, or yeah, it's like you can see through the tape, but it's like kind of smoky, kind of like it's not very clear anymore. But it's better to be actually protected than so this is gonna be top here. All right, so maybe we can move this back a little bit. So that's not very, oh, okay, yeah. You see, this is the problem. If you have paper, it doesn't like to behave. To do that first. Yeah, so this is a high curvature area. It's gonna be a little bit difficult to do this, but I think tape is like interesting because it's not exactly like paper. It can handle some complex shapes as long as you deform it right. So we're just starting at the trailing edge here and working our way to the front. Okay, I lied. It's still quite difficult. All right, so I'm gonna cut it along this seam here. That'll allow this to go down. And then if I trim this back piece right here, also allow this to go down. Right. Okay, looks decent. Just gonna briefly tape the underside here because there's a tab that keeps on coming out for no reason. All right. And then here. Yeah, it looks pretty clean. Looks pretty good. It's not gonna be perfect, but it's the best that we can do. That, at least, I don't know. I think I can do. So, I forgot to tell you guys, it snowed here today. It's dark and gloomy skies outside. It's really dark. It's probably why it seems a little bit later than it is, but you know, we're approaching that time of year. Winter solstice. But anyways, this looks pretty clean. This is good. So we can continue on with the project here. I think in the end, it might be in the end, but it might also be now, but we're not really done yet, so I don't know. I do want to tape this entire surface down longitudinally. You'll see there are some areas here that are not taped yet. This is still raw cardstock. I want it to be weatherproof, so I will eventually do that. That should also smooth out some of these panel lines here, especially with the tape. You know, it's all uneven and not uniform. Hopefully these final layers would smooth things out. But we'll leave that for the end. That's going to be one of the final steps. For now, I think we can start working on the nose, which is going to be right here on the underside. So for this, I had thought about this for a while, and I think I'm going to, let me see if I can have some parts here. Nope, no I don't. Alright, so, well actually, I have some popsicle sticks, which might be useful. I want to reinforce the heck out of this nose. And the reason for that is that I spent a lot of time making this thing. I don't want it to break in like one flight, you know, or, you know, multiple flights, but the more durable it is, the better. So, yeah, another popsicle stick. So the question is, how are we going to do this, right? Probably need to attach it like so. Also, this is going to be interesting because we're coming into contact with this straw mechanism here. I apologize for that noise in the background. There are lots of kids in this apartment, and they just like to jump all over the place and make loud noises, so can't really do anything about that. But let's see. Yeah, it looks pretty good. I'm just wondering, like, if I should use straw or popsicle stick, because I feel like popsicle stick would be, oh, let me move this up a little bit so you guys can see better. Sorry about that. Popsicle stick would be a lot stiffer, more structurally sound, but it looks quite flat. I don't know if we should like add a little bit of thickness here to the nose, make it go down a little bit and then back up. I feel like really sculpting the side profile like this. I know in the F-16 we used a straw, which did the job. But also the nose already has a lot of reinforcement, so I don't know if that's completely necessary. I feel like adding this would be a little excessive. Not sure. I think I'm just gonna do the straw, to be honest. I don't think it. This is already. This is already quite stiff. And I'm gonna build a nose cover for this as well. So it'll be really, really reinforced. Like so many layers. But it should be good. So do a little straw here, add a little bit of thickness, have it come out and back in really quick. So it kind of looks elegant and sleek in that sense. But also this will serve as kind of a little bit of a cushion if it crashes nose first, you know. Really, this is not great. This is not a great shape for high alpha, because if you think about it, this is quite a flat nose. So if you're at a high angle of attack, the air is just gonna separate when it slips off the side here. I guess the F-22 is like that as well, but the F-22 has like a sharper nose, right? It's not really flat. It's 3D. So I don't know. Do I like the 3D profile or kind of a flat edge there? I'm not sure. So you gotta take some time to make a decision, and then you can go through with it. I guess we could do the straw idea first. I don't know what I mean by first. If it works, then it works. But if it doesn't work, then your plane breaks. So I don't know. It's a hard call. I don't really know. Let's see. Any recent chats here? Nope. All right. Just checking. I'm gonna use straw. All right, it's decided. I'm going to use straw for this. Let's see if I have a shorter one of these. Oh, would you look at that? I do. This is in the box where I keep this prototype. I actually keep this one in a box because it's a little bit more special. I don't want dust collecting on it because it's a work in progress. I guess I didn't do that for the F-16, so it's preferential treatment. But oh well, it is what it is. Also, like with the thinner piece here, we can add ballast, so that'll be good. I don't know, where's it balanced right now? Just curious. It's balanced right about here at this corner, like right behind this corner. I feel like that is going to be a little bit too tail heavy. Might want to be up here, but really tuning this and integrating the weights in the right place, that's like down the line. It's not a concern that we should be having right now. We'll worry about that later. For now, I'm just gonna focus on doing this nose. All right, so for the nose, do you want like a very thin leading edge? Or like a very thin, you know, side profile. So this isn't perfect, but it's mostly where we want it to be. I don't remember how we did it on the F-16. Do you guys remember? I think we did something similar to this. Did I just tape it in place? Because that seems really, you know, it can roll to either side. So, I'm not sure. Maybe we should squish it. Nah, I don't know. Oh, we could squish the back end here. Yes, that's true. We can squish this. Just gotta press down on the back here. That'll flatten this out a little bit to be more easily attachable to the underside here. But also this flatness transitions the nose back up to the fuselage, right? This little bump. So I think that's pretty good. Now the question is, where are we gonna put it? I also did not measure this at all. It's just going based on gut feel. Sometimes you do have to just trust your gut. See where things go. Just checking the alignment here. It's mostly aligned to me. Again, it's not gonna be perfect, so. So because this is the nose, I'm gonna tape not just 2 sections, but probably all the sections. Really make sure it doesn't come off. Yep. So squish that down. Right. This is kind of a new way to sculpt these features, I guess. Call them that. So here, I'm not really compressing. I'm really just wrapping around and making sure the tape is secure. Right. So here in the back, we've really compressed this and taped over that to make sure it, you know, leads back up to the fuselage. Let's see, just quickly measure this. It's a little over 2. Nope, it's exactly 2. And it's exactly 2. Wow, I am great at eyeballing. Wow. That's, you guys already knew that, so. Okay, good. So this looks interesting. I think once we panel it over, it'll look a lot nicer. This is really just the bones of the structure underneath. We're really keeping it as simple as possible and still giving it some shape here. So, all right, now comes the fun part of going over this. And it's a complex curvature shape. So that's gonna be interesting. See how that goes. Just take a sip real quick. I say caffeinated for these things. Oh boy. All right. Okay. All right, we need to cover this up. So we need a piece of cardstock. Probably gonna use this one, to be honest. It's long enough. It has enough area to cover. So should be all good to go. Except we should probably make a template for this, because it's going to be a little bit off from the original nose shape. This was like kind of what we used for the nose, but I guess we could start based off of this, but it's just not great. Yeah, we could also do that. So I was thinking to myself, but we could imagine like take strips of cardstock and then do that. Like, you know, imagine this bit wasn't here, but you lay it on there like that. And then this way you can match the shape quite nicely. Provide some underneath structure here for a panel that covers all of it like that. But that's a lot of work. I don't know if I want to pursue that. But also, look at this. It's a template that I previously made. I think this is for the F16. This is not for the not for this plane. All right, so I guess we have to make a new template, custom designed panel to really cover this up. And yeah. Doesn't have to be the whole thing. This has to be wrapped around this as closely as possible. Interesting. Okay. So this is probably long enough. I'm gonna cut this all the way through here. Do that. So the whole idea here is that it's probably easier to create a template for one side and then mirror that piece. Interesting. Or not. Alright, let's fold this in half. I want to save time, but I also want to like get it to look decent. So I don't know. Thin, and then it goes out here. Okay, just take a ruler. And line this up. Fold that. Okay, looks decent. Because this is a template, fold it down securely. Very tight fold, very clean fold. And then from here, we can explore a little bit. So we can do something like that. Just gonna grab a small sliver of temporary tape here to hold this on into the center line. Or close to the center line. It might not be exact, but that's not the point because we're gonna cover it over eventually anyway. So if we do that, then we can do what we did before and make a custom panel here. And I think for this we might need a pen rather than a pencil, just for simplicity, because we don't have like a solid surface to exert force on.